but let me proceed. So, this information right now that you're about to hear came from Rachel Shelley. Rachel Shelley, the one we're supposed to trust, the one that says her hands are tied, she has nothing to do with this, blah, 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 blah. Go back and look at my tapes, my videos from before, and see what I stated. See how long this process has been going on. See how long this process has been going on. And she'll sit by like she's the innocent bystander. Well, no, you're not. You're actually, you're the serpent in this whole thing. And I will tell you why. And I'm going to express to everybody else why. In her own words, follow me on this one. This is when the district was trying to get her on board with coming up with a new version of this little thing right here. Because they realized the other one, okay, it might have been broad, it might have been this, it might have been that, it might have been this, it might have been that. Okay, that means the due diligence was not done before it was presented to our kids. That should make that whole thing null and void. It should show that you're very incompetent and you don't want to listen. Right? No, there's no piping down because you've actually affected my son's educational process. You want to say you have an alternative, you had an alternative assignment ready? Actually, you didn't. And I have the facts on that one as well. So don't sit and tell a lie to anybody else saying you were trying to protect the kids. If you were trying to protect the kids go to class, they all work together, and if they somehow want to do anything else when outside of the school, because that's not mandatory. A film festival is not mandatory. But if they want to do anything else outside of it, like submit this here and submit this there, you should have taught them how to do so versus trying to take it. You say you want to protect the kids' rights. That's what you say, right? If you choose that you want to protect the kids' rights, why is it that they had to sign this piece of paper giving up all rights? Does that even make sense? I don't understand the competence of people that are supposed to be educating our kids now if they don't know how to make sense of that simple thing. And if they do know how to make sense of it, what is there to gain? Yeah, I found out about scholarship money talk, or if they want more money, if they receive some kind of prize, this person wants a little bit, may want a little bit more. That's what y'all worried about. It's not your issue to worry about. It's not your issue to worry about. So that means if they sign to you or the school district, the kids win, the school district can now divvy out whatever the way they choose to want to divvy it out. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. So families, friends, those that leaders, follow this carefully. And these are the words of Rachel Shelley. And this was back before, I want to take us back to the second or third week of December. Okay, this is before the new thing came out that she was kind of trying to not really have happen. Follow it. Introducing this document in the middle of the school year will muddy the current individual projects that have been completed or are underway. Tracking which individual projects failed beforehand and under the old contract and under the new is problematic for the school. That's like saying if you get 5 kids that are now enrolling at your high school, it's hard to keep track of those 5 students and where they came from, so on and so forth. You want to talk about baloney? Okay, I'm going to keep going with the baloney. The draft, as is written, would end the spring showcase for the film and animation program. That's your fault. Because we never had to end the spring showcase before, because we never had to have one of these contracts signed. Remember that. So let me go back. The draft as is written would end the spring showcase for the film and animation program. The showcase relies on individual projects, often stitched together in reels or anthologies. This is the one event where all students' work is shown to the public. You just said shown to the public. We never signed an agreement to show it to the public, but yet none of us have ever complained. So you just contradicted yourself about this whole dynamics of all this, because you just said out of your own mouth, this is where the showcase is, where we show the first thing out of your mouth is not to the family. You said to the public. And if you said to the public, that means that is no different than a film at a film festival. I don't care where it's displayed. If it's at a film festival, if it's in my backyard with 100 people, it does not matter. It is displayed in public. Contradicted yourself again. Contradicted yourself again. Then it goes on to say, basically, let's go back real quick. This is the one event where all students' work is shown to the public, their families, etc. each year. The amount of paperwork sent home to every parent for every individual assignment throughout the school year to make these available for the showcase and future promotions would be very burdensome on the families and the staff. You send papers home and you get them signed. That's how you dupe these people into signing the first contract, because it was part and it was attached to the syllabus, where somebody else already agreed that it was attached to the syllabus. Yeah, I got that information too. So again, when I say that your scheme has been uncovered, it has been uncovered. It has been uncovered. You got the right person at the right time in the right moment. Maybe this was for me to discover and be the voice for the community, be the voice for the school, be the voice for the area. Maybe it was. So now I am. Thank you. Now I shall continue. The message, this is Rachel Shelley again. The message we would be sending if this change were made in the coming weeks. Again, this is in December when she said this. In the coming weeks. As opposed to the beginning of the next school year. That means my son would have graduated. That means we would have been going bye-bye. That means Michael Hawthorne Sr. would not be trying to protect the rights of you, your son, your daughter, your cousin, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. None of my soon-to-be Booker High alumni like myself. So if I'm not allowed to protect Booker High alumni or soon-to-be alumni, what good am I? Huh? If I'm not allowed to protect your child and my child, what good am I? Let's think about that. Now, let's ask the same question to the people that was pushing this. What good are they if they're not trying to protect the rights, the given rights to your son and or your daughter? Let's think about this. Now, again, these are Rachel Shelley's words. Okay? Remember what I said. These are Rachel Shelley's words. They're not my words. I'm not making them up. Somebody can say, oh, he's making them up. Challenge me on that one and let's see. Challenge me on that one and let's see. Don't call my bluff, because I'm far from bluffing. Let's continue. Let's go back to this, what was just said. The message we would be sending if this change were to be made is laughable in the coming weeks, as opposed to the beginning of the next school year, is that conducting yourself in the way this gentleman has, that means referring to me, will result in getting what you want. And then, furthermore, she added, the film students are watching this closely. They should be. They should be, and nobody should have trust in you. The reason why nobody should have trust in you is because you are a liar. Yes, I said it. You are a liar. So all this stuff, the updated and the collaborative portion of this work for hire / assignment of copyright, all of that was, I credit some people for saying, hey, we need to change this. I credit some people for that. However, don't stand by and be complicit with the whole situation. Remember, it was something that never needed to be in the school in the first place. It ended up being in the school in the first place. The sole reason I'm talking about this entire thing was, one, to not let it harm my son, which it did. So Booker High is totally responsible for that. Now, parents, community, anybody that's listening to this, I want you to understand exactly who a certain person is, word for word. You think you can trust that person? I doubt it. Yes, there's a new thing that's out right now. Parents, if you signed it, go get it back and tear it up. Because I'm going to actually give you a complete remedy to the whole thing that they're not telling you. That your high school is not telling you. That your principal is not telling you. That the film teacher is not telling you. Okay? Because one, you're dealing with a person. When I'm invested, I'm invested. As a teacher, you should teach. Don't worry about placating, or don't worry about playing up to a film festival. That's the whole basis behind this. And to even talk about that one film, Into the Storm, and how it dealt with the Sarasota County School District getting ready to shut down Booker High School. And then people in the community stood up for that school and the rights of the families, the kids, the teachers, those that work at that school, to have the same school and to have the same principal sit up here and do the same thing for Sarasota County School District, meaning they now own the rights to the film that came out of, that represented the Booker community, the Newtown community, when we were experiencing the segregation and the revolt against the 1967 school district, Sarasota County School District, plan to shut down Booker High School. Yeah, community, you need to talk. You need to speak, because they now own your film. They now own everything about that. The same school district that tried to shut down Booker High School. Thank you, principal. Thank you, principal, for delivering that to them on a plate that they can constantly make some kind of revenue off of. See, when you start dealing with a person that has an attachment to that community. Yeah, I went to Booker High School. I graduated from Booker High School. Still donating my time and efforts and that other kind of stuff back to Booker High School. That's my home. And my uncle, John Henry Rivers, was one that stood up against the Sarasota County School District when they tried to shut down Booker High School. So yeah, that's the same DNA right here in this individual right here that's standing up to you individuals on how you're trying to strip these kids of their rights. Yes, I'm calling you out. That's my duty. I know better. That's my duty. If my Uncle John was here, he would do the same thing. He would look down on the principal for allowing this to happen at this school. But let me get more into her. Since everybody thinks this is okay, and I said it should not have left the printer if we had a principal at that school that would protect the children. Think about what I just said. You don't go outside to seek this information, to bring it back in and then say, well, the district is doing this. No, it was your doing. And with this new agreement, I have to thank some people at the district for kind of trying to do their job and talking sensible to make a change. But we're going to talk about you right now, Rachel Shelley. We're going to talk about you right now because this issue goes well beyond. You violated several codes of ethics for the educational profession in the state of Florida. It's not on me. You could look that up. You can look that up yourself. There's no talking your way out of this either. You also have other teachers that have done so as well. There's no talking your way out of that. So when you do get a call from several people representing the Florida Department of Education, don't sit and say what you actually said on January 10th. His son is of a certain age now. He can speak for himself. That told me you don't care about not one kid that's over 18 at your school. If something was to happen with any of those kids at that school, that high school seniors that are 18 years old, who would you call first? I'll wait to hear this one. Who would you call first? Their parents. So when there's an issue, you basically want to have the parents back off and be quiet because they're of a certain age and they can speak. No, they're still our children. That's what you fail to realize, and that's what I done heard you say now. You've actually reported that and stated that to a person that represents the Florida Department of Education. So there's no backtracking on those words. You've also stated that I shut down lines of communication. I shut down lines of communication. There's two things I really don't like in life. One is to argue. I can have a debate. That's fine. But to argue, that's one. And two are liars. I shut down lines of communication. I think I had a request about a written statement that you were trying to have prepared by somebody else, and you were trying to get out of it. That's a fact. Understand, when you're dealing with me, I have my facts. I don't just talk. I do not talk. One thing about stereotypes, they're going to be broken with me. I don't just talk. I don't just talk. What else did you say? You said other schools have this. I don't care if two people just stole from Walmart or Winn-Dixie. That don't mean somebody else go steal from Publix. Doesn't matter. Right is right, wrong is wrong. You've been told what you should do by several individuals. And one in particular that was a former student that contacted you because he works for a senator, the chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee that oversees what? Copyrights, patents, trademarks for the United States of America. I'm sure he told you that this was not a good look. This work for hire agreement is not a good look. This is not the thing to do. I'm sure he told you that because we spoke. But you choose to not want to listen. You admitted that you could have been clearer to parents. That's what you stated when you were probably asked about some things. That's funny that you say that, because right now you will admit certain things to certain people, but you're not truthful. You are not honest. Remember what I said, January 10th, if anybody's listening, January 10th, she admitted to somebody that represented the Florida Department of Education. Okay? Now, let's go into some real facts. Okay? And I'm going to take you back before this new and improved document came. So, yes, I said it. You are a liar. Those are your words. You want people to trust you. You want people to listen to you. You play on one side, then you play on the other side. You play like you're for the community. Then you go down and you kowtow to other people. And then when they don't listen to you, you start throwing accusations, what I may say and what I may do. Yeah, you throw accusations. You want to know how I know you want to throw accusations? What I may say and what I may do? Because I'm going to use one on you right now. The next thing you had said, and this was before this new thing came out. Again, you said, even the new draft will not work for Mr. Hawthorne. How do you know? Did you ask me? Did you ask me? The reason why I asked that of you, because you made this statement in December, but over here on January 10th, you said to the lady, and that I didn't mention on purpose, you said to the lady, we have changed the documentation, giving the students their rights, or giving the students some of their rights back. That's what you said to the person that represents Florida Department of Education. But what you don't say is you never apologize to the parents for giving this shabby thing out in the first place. How do you say now we've given When you're caught, you want to say, well, what we tried to change. You understand that? When we caught, we want to be friendly with the people that caught us to see if we can lessen the trouble that we're in. That's kind of like what guilty people do, I think. I should be asking you. I should be asking all of your little individuals, your little minions that you got running with you, because they're doing the same thing. Now, here we go. Let's go. Let's continue to move. Like I said, you said to the lady just less than a couple days ago that, well, we've given them their rights back. It wasn't your doing, because what I'm reading right now is before the school district did what they did, because it wasn't your help. See what I'm saying? That's why I think some people at the school district or on the actual board that jumped on this just a little bit to get you to do something that's right, because you weren't trying to listen. I spoke to you in September. I made mention to this to Steve Cantise's office in August. I mentioned this to the district in August. Look at we now. We have to wait till a whole half of school year is wasted. My son has been subjected to an unjust penalty because of this shabby dealing at Booker High School, because you did try to steal these kids' intellectual property and rights. Why would they give them to you? You say you want to protect the kids. How do you protect the kids? By taking something away. It doesn't even make sense. Again, this is one of these, I don't even know if it's a word, nonsensical things that are happening over at a place that's supposed to be an educational institution. Now, granted, that's not a college. I don't want to hold you to such a high standard, but it's also not an elementary school or a preschool either. So now I do want to hold you to a higher standard, because these kids will be out in the workforce next year. So let me say what you said. Even with this new draft, the one that didn't come out until the one that we didn't receive until we got back to school after the break in 2020, even the new draft will not work for Mr. Hawthorne. As a result, he might become even more strident in his accusations, causing those in his circle, that means you, that means the community, that means the people that just want to listen and understand what's going on. I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to gain out of this. I wanted my son to go through high school just like I went to high school. Cool. Get to graduation. Graduate. Make something of himself. In the process, still make something of himself along the way. That's affected by the principal at Booker High School. Am I sensing the change needs to be made? I sure am. Now let me continue what she's saying about me, because Mr. Hawthorne came up. When you say about me, why don't you tell me what you want to say about me versus telling some other people to try to threaten them so then they won't do what it is that you don't want them to do. See how that works? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, because they're going to and damn, they did it anyway. Again, let me get back to it. Even the new draft will not work for Mr. Hawthorne. As a result, he might become even more strident in his accusations, causing those in his circle, that means you guys, that means the community, that means the public, those in my circle, to also become more uncertain about the district and the program. No, Rachel, it's not being uncertain about the district, because now we're finding out that the district did a little bit more than you. Okay? I told you on one of the last videos, this thing should not have left the printer if you guys would have saw something and say, hold on, we're not putting this with our kids. We're not doing this to our kids. Didn't do it. But these are your words. You're talking about me to somebody else. These are your words talking about me. Mr. Hawthorne, he might this, he might that. He might become even more strident. Oh, loud, boisterous, whatever. Again, you're not going to silence me. You're not going to silence me because you're not right. You are not right, and all of these stones are being turned over right now. You are not right. This is this. He might become even more strident in his accusations. What do I have to accuse you of? I got facts on my side. I know the law. Do you? Do you know your code of conduct? Do you know the ethics for education? Do you know the ethics that your other teachers should be abiding by? You'll throw somebody else under the bus. Yeah, you will, but you won't admit when you're wrong. You kind of sort of admitted to the lady that represented the state. You kind of sort of had to do that, but you also didn't answer some of her questions as well. Yeah. Don't think I don't know. You didn't answer some of her questions. Some of her questions was asked towards you specifically, and you just basically declined to answer or act like they weren't even being asked. That's your MO when you think you have power over somebody. That's what you do. Somebody let that little principal job make it feel like as if you are not part of the community, or you are not part of some higher standard that need to be upheld and kept. Sorry. You are. Let's continue. Now, all parents, all students, all staff, everybody in the community, I need you to understand and listen to this one right here. Listen to this, please. Rachel Shelley said, "It's our understanding that we have a legally signed document with the other 40 parents. We would risk further complications if we sent the message that they need to redo something because of one parent's concern." My concern happens to be valid. My concern happens to be for the rights and protection of all students. This is what your principal said. So basically, if you were that parent, she'd tell other people, the hell with that parent too. Because those are her words. Said this might shake their confidence in the documents we've sent home previously, leading to some of them refusing to sign anything that we put in front of them. This would jeopardize current student film projects in the works, affecting multiple other students and their families. That's a joke coming from a principal. That's basically trying to hide the truth, deny the truth, and make it seem like it's a complete cover-up. Thanks, Rachel. So you probably understand now why, even with this last part, and I'll read that again. This is, again, Rachel Shelley's words. Not my words, Rachel Shelley's words. "It's our understanding that we have a legally signed document with the other 40 parents. We would risk further complications if we sent the message that they need to redo something because of one parent's concern." That's insulting right now. That means if you had a concern, it does not matter. And that's from the highest person at the school. And if you showed them proof and gave them remedies, they still don't want to listen. So if you told them there was an imminent threat to a school, shouldn't they listen? I would think so. If you told them that there was something that put kids at risk for any kind of harm, doesn't have to be physical harm. It could be mental, psychological, emotional, whatever. Don't you think they should listen? I would think so. I would actually think so. That's part of what they're supposed to do, is protect the students. And also listen when the families have concerns. "It's our understanding that we have a legally signed document with the other 40 parents. We would risk further complications if we sent the message that they, the parents, need to redo something because of one parent's concern. This might shake their confidence in the documents we've previously sent home, leading to some of them refusing to sign anything anymore. This would jeopardize current student film projects in the works, affecting multiple other students and their families." Since when has this lady been concerned about the students and the families? Gave them a paper to take away their rights. Didn't even explain it. Didn't want to, didn't choose to. I would say thank you, school board members and certain people at the district that actually saw that there was an issue I thank you. The other ones, I don't thank you. Booker High, I don't thank you. You should have never took it off the printer. Rachel Shelley, you're just untruthful. You're very untruthful. This is like a couple weeks into December after my second video, which started the ball rolling onto, yeah, well, maybe, I think he's on to something. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I just went to school for this stuff. But, some people think they know everything. I sit back until things are brought to me. I didn't go find that shabby agreement. It was brought home for a parent to sign. Several parents to sign, as a matter of fact. But if you don't want to tell the parents, it could risk further complications. That means you are untruthful. You are not trustworthy. You are not worthy for anybody's trust. Because how many other kids and how many other things have you been a part of that you don't want to let people know what is actually going on? I would venture to say a lot. I know this one. I know this one for a fact. Okay? Somehow I happen to be a potential issue. I have nothing to do with this. I asked you to scrap the damn thing. That's what I asked. I asked you to scrap the thing. Because it made no sense. But I'm going to actually tell everybody else something first. So, upon me doing my research, if any of you know me, you know I love doing research. I love knowledge. That's why this thing is, this actually has been pretty fun, because now I'm exposing to you all, the community and the world, who's actually trying to steal from our kids. I'm exposing a principal and how she's running things at her school. How she's allowing things through that's supposed to be protecting, but she letting things come through. Yeah, there are choices that also, they always say, see something. If you see something, say something and do something. Well, I saw it, I said it, tried to do something about it. She tried to go against me. Bad idea. Let me let y'all know a few things too, because they always try to use this one thing as for the film